going on, everyone? My name is Jemai McKinney, or you can just call me Juice, because that is my nickname. The NBA is coming back right around the corner, and today I'm going to give you guys the top 10 NBA teams based on what I've seen up to this point, from this year. So I'm going to go 1 through 10. Let's get right to it. I'm just going to put these teams on your screen for you guys to see right here on YouTube. And let's just name off these teams. Okay, right here. The best team in basketball to me is the Clippers. Number 2 is the Lakers. Number 3 is the Rockets. Number 4 is the Bucks. Number 5 is Boston. Number 6 is Toronto. Number 7 is Miami. Number 8 is Denver. Number 9 is Dallas. And number 10 is the Philadelphia 76ers, okay? Let's kind of start at the top. I think that if you're going to bet on who's going to win the championship, I would either choose the Clippers, the Lakers, or the Rockets. Those are the 3 teams that have the best chance to win the title this year. Let's start with the Clippers. I believe they're the most complete team. I love Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, to me, might be the best player in basketball. I have to kind of really think things out to see who I want to take between Kawhi, Durant, and LeBron, because I think those are the 3 best players in basketball right now. You can pick and choose who you think's the best. I don't really particularly care. They're all 3 interchangeable and very close at this point. Okay, but you also got Paul George, and not to mention you got a lot of great depth behind those guys. You got two star players that are very capable. It's the best duo outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and maybe Russell Westbrook and James Harden might be a better duo. I don't quite know if I want to put them over them, but either way, it's a very good duo. Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell are very good. You got Patrick Beverley, who's a pest, who's a dog, who's going to bring that, defense to your team. And you also got Marcus Morris, Landry Shamet, and so much depth. The Clippers' strength is their ability to throw multiple lineups at you, and also they're the one team that can throw the most bodies at LeBron James. Not to mention this team is very deep as far as their bench goes. You got a lot of shooters. This team can score offensively. This team is very good defensively. They move the basketball. They're well coached by Doc Rivers. I like the Clippers as the best team in basketball. Up next is LeBron James' Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, best duo in the game of basketball. This is a very good defensive team. They have a lot of size, and this team has a lot of veteran players on their roster. In a year during a pandemic, with the NBA restarting, with all these new moving parts, and how the NBA is going to be, coming off this 3-month layoff, teams with veteran players and with a lot of experience on their team, those are the teams that are going to benefit the most. And not to mention, the Lakers have been clicking all year. Now, you've got Kyle Kuzma, you've got Danny Green, you've got Rajon Rondo, you've got JaVale McGee. That's a decent, bench slash role. Those are decent bench players slash role players. But again, what puts the Clippers over the Lakers is due to the fact I think the Clippers are a much more deeper team, and I think that the Clippers are less star dependent. If Kawhi Leonard and Paul George have off nights, I trust the Clippers to win more so if LeBron James and Anthony Davis have off nights. The Clippers don't need Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to dominate 24/7. They can have a lot of great players on their team step up and make big shots. If LeBron James and Anthony Davis aren't hitting shots, you're crossing your fingers that Kyle Kuzma, who's never hit a big shot in the playoffs, and Danny Green, who's good, who's been a good player, but he's averaging about 8.7 points per game this year. You're crossing your fingers that someone else besides those guys steps up. And I don't know if the Lakers have enough depth to beat a team like the Clippers or even the Rockets. But I do think that Anthony Davis and LeBron James deserve my respect. They're at number 2. Houston Rockets are at number 3. I believe they found their identity right before the trade deadline. Not right before the trade deadline, right before the pandemic hit. Russell Westbrook was playing MVP level basketball, and James Harden was playing MVP level basketball. And when I look at these teams, I look at who's your second option, because you need a star player, but who's your second option? The Clippers, they've got Paul George as their second option. The Lakers, they've got Anthony Davis as their second option, okay? Having Russell Westbrook as your second option, it doesn't get much better than that. Russell Westbrook is one of the best players in the NBA. He's great, and he's really been playing very well with this team, okay? And I think that James Harden and Russell Westbrook are going to be well rested come playoff time due to this 3-month layoff. That is very key, because we've seen in the past, Russell Westbrook and James Harden have been lesser versions of themselves come playoff time. But now you give them 3 months to rejuvenate and recharge. I think they're going to be ready for the marathon, which is the NBA playoffs. So I like Houston. They're very deep. They've got a lot of great shooters. I do worry about their coaching staff as far as not being able to make adjustments. And I do worry about their lack of defense and their lack of size. But I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of defense being played in these NBA playoffs due to the fact that there may be some sloppy play and guys might be out of shape. So I'm going to trust Russell Westbrook and James Harden, who are well rested, to potentially get it done. I like Houston a lot this year. They got the experience as well. Now, Milwaukee and Boston, they're kind of interchangeable to me. At first I had Boston over Milwaukee. I think Boston is deeper. I trust Boston a little bit more late in games, potentially, depending on how the situation goes. But I looked at the Milwaukee Bucks, and I look at Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I think he's the deciding factor. I just don't think Boston, if they were to face a team like Milwaukee, I don't think they have the size down low to stop a guy like Giannis. And the Bucks do have the best record in basketball. They are pretty deep. They deserve our respect. They're well coached. Chris Middleton's playing well. Eric Bledsoe's a good player. Brook Lopez is a very good savvy veteran. So I went with what team has the best player. But don't get me wrong, Boston is right up there with Milwaukee. I like what Boston presents to the table. Boston is very deep. They got 3 guys that are scoring 20 points per game. And if Jason Tatum can be the best player in a playoff series versus the Bucks, Boston can beat a team like Milwaukee. Boston can hang with the Lakers. They can hang with the Clippers. They can hang with the Rockets. So they're 2 very good, well-coached, teams that have a lot of good shooters and have a lot of depth and are pretty good defensively. However, I just think from a stylistic perspective, Milwaukee matches up better with these teams due to the fact that they have more size. Toronto, very good, well-coached team. They're the defending champions. Pascal Siakam is playing very well, averaging well over 20 points per game. They've got 5 other guys scoring in double figures this year. They're experienced, they're tough, they're scrappy, and I will not be shocked if Toronto makes a run in the playoffs because they have a lot of great experience and they have a pretty darn good team. The only difference is they don't have Kawhi Leonard on their team from last year, and that kind of knocks them off from me saying that they're going to be a team that challenges a team like the Lakers, the Clippers, the Celtics, or even the Rockets and the Bucks. So Toronto's good, but I think they have a little bit of a ceiling. I like the Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra, to me, does not get enough credit as the head coach of this team. He consistently is disrespected. Eric Spoelstra is a very good head coach. Jimmy Butler, I love his story. He's playing very well. He's been a great leader and a great role model for this team. He's playing very well. They've got a lot of good shooters as far as Kendrick Nunn goes, Duncan Robinson and Tyler Herro. They've also got some good other good young players. And also, what I like about the Miami Heat is they have a couple good veteran players. Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala. They've got some experience on this roster full of young players. Not to mention, Bam Adebayo is a beast down low. He's pretty good. Miami is young, so I think that their lack of experience could hurt them come playoff time, maybe. I think Miami's the 7th best team. Denver, I'm not a huge fan of Denver, but I mean, they're good, I guess. I mean, what can I say? They win a lot of games. Nikola Jokic is great. I think they're well coached. But the only thing about Denver is that if Jamal Murray is not great, this team's not going anywhere. And I don't know how good Jamal Murray is going to be consistently. Also, this team is very young. This team relies on having home court advantage. And guess what? In the playoffs this year, you're not going to have fans in the stands. So Denver, to me, is going to be a team that could potentially get exposed because they're a young team and they rely heavily on having home court advantage. But I do think they're talented, just not as talented as some of the big boys up there. When it comes to Dallas and Philadelphia, I put Dallas over Philly simply because I see more consistency with Dallas. I think Dallas is a more well-coached team than the Philadelphia 76ers. I look at a guy like Brett Brown, who to me just doesn't know what he's doing. Brett Brown, honestly, I would not be shocked if he's fired at the end of the year. Rick Carlisle has won an NBA championship. And let's be real, the Dallas Mavericks have a better record than the Sixers right now. And they play in a tougher conference. The Western Conference is much more tougher than the East. And I think that Dallas is more explosive offensively. Whereas Philadelphia, they have a ceiling on offense. Also, Luka Doncic is a difference maker. Luka Doncic is going to be the best player on the court at all times. Don't give me Ben Simmons. Don't give me Joel Embiid. Nope. What's the name? Luka Doncic is the best player, between those teams, okay? He's a top 10 player in basketball. So, if I were matching up these teams, I honestly think Dallas beats Philadelphia. Luka Doncic is averaging 29 points per game, about 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. He's great. So, while Dallas is limited defensively, offensively, they can hang with anyone if they're on their A game. But I do think that they're young, and they're about a year or two away. Philadelphia, I kind of had to put them on this list just by default. I mean, I look at a team like Utah. I thought that Utah was worthy of the 10th spot right here, but due to the fact that Bogdanovic is not going to be playing during the playoffs, that's a huge blow to Utah. So I went with Philadelphia by default, but don't get me wrong, this team's not a great team. Brett Brown's not a great head coach. They do not have a whole lot of depth, not a lot of great shooting, and I don't think their chemistry is there. But Philadelphia is very talented. Ben Simmons is a good player. Joel Embiid is one of the best big men in basketball. And Tobias Harris deserves my respect, along with Josh Richardson and a couple other players. So, I think that Philadelphia can show up defensively versus some of these teams. They can challenge some of these teams. But I don't think Philadelphia is much of a threat. And they honestly get the 10th spot by default. So, there you have it right there. Those are the top 10 teams I have right now in basketball at the moment. Number 1, Clippers. Number 2, Lakers. Number 3, Rockets. Number 4, Celtics. Number 5, Number 5, Milwaukee. Number 6, Toronto. Number 7, Miami. Number 8, Denver. Number 9, Dallas. And number 10, Philadelphia. However, I want to be very clear. I think there are only about 5, maybe 6 teams that can win a championship. Those teams are the Clippers, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Celtics, the Bucks, and I'd probably throw in the Raptors. I would probably throw in the Raptors because they have the experience, they're well coached, and they deserve my respect. So, those are the top 10 teams in the NBA right now, heading into the stretch run of the final 8 games of the season / the playoffs. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.